everyone, welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. This channel is all about planning, budgeting, paying off debt, and my very exciting journey from full-time teacher to full-time Etsy shop owner and YouTuber. So if that is something that you think you would like to see, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you along on this journey. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to set up a budget using Google Sheets, which is like Excel, or maybe it is Excel, I don't know. But this is a very basic tutorial. I'm going to show you step by step from beginning to end how to do it. If you are already familiar with Excel, then this tutorial is not going to be helpful for you at all. This is truly for the beginner. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right in. So to start with, you need a Gmail account. They are free and they're easy to set up, so if you don't have one, I highly recommend that you get one. Then you're going to come over here to the top right-hand corner. There's a picture of you if you've added a picture, and then there are these 9 dots. Those are your Google apps. So you're going to click on the 9 dots, and to set up a spreadsheet, let's see, we're going to scroll down to Sheets. So click on Sheets. Okay, you can do all this if you want, but we're just going to close out of this right now, and we're going to do a blank spreadsheet. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a title. We're going to pretend that this is my December budget for my family. So I'm just going to write December budget 2021. Okay, so this is the way I set up my budget. Of course, you can go in and change yours to fit your needs, but I just want to give you an example. So I'm going to start on row 1 by putting the titles of each column. So this first title is dates, and then I have category. Next are expenses, then income, and then total. Okay, so under dates, I have more information than dates. I have the date range for, I budget by week, so I have a date range for each week, but I will also put in where our income is coming from. So at the beginning of the month, I have a rollover amount from the previous month. Then I have my husband's check, and I just put DPD for David's payday. He gets paid once a month at the beginning of the month. Then I'm going to put in my income sources, which are variable. My husband's income is fixed, which is really helpful. So I get a check from Etsy. This week I will get a check from Etsy. I will also get a check from YouTube. I'm actually paid the week before for Etsy and YouTube, but I put them 1 week later so I know how much I have to work with. Okay, now I'm ready to set up my dates for week 1. So the way I like to do it is I type week 1, and then under that I'll put the date range for that week, which will be November 28th through December 4th. It is time to do some formulas. So for this first row here, rollover, whatever I put in for income, that's what this amount needs to be. So I'm going to go up here to my formula. Now this is the technical important part, okay? So click in this bar up here, and you're going to write a formula. So I want this to equal D2. So whatever I put in this box here, that's what's going to appear in my total. So I want that to equal capital D2. And enter. Okay, now I personally have recently been rolling over 0, so I'm just going to go ahead and do 0. And you can see that my total is 0 because this is equal to this. Okay, now let's go down to the next row. Okay, all the remaining rows that I use in my budget now are going to have the same formula. So we're going to set the formula up in this box, and then we're just going to copy and paste it all the way down, which I will show you how to do in just a moment. Let's start with, let's start here. So C3, that is going to be a negative. It's an expense. D3 will be a positive because that's an income. So let's go to E3 and set up our formula. Also, I'm going to be using this cell here, E2, okay? So we're going to say we want E3, that's the cell we're currently in, we want that to equal E2. That's the total that we had in the beginning to start with. But we don't want it to just equal that. We also want to take out any expenses that occurred. So we're going to say minus C2. No, I'm sorry, C3. Okay, so we have the total from E2 minus any expenses that we incur, and we're also going to add any income that happens. So we're going to say plus D3. Okay, so that is the formula that we want. We want equal E2 minus C3 plus D3. Okay, I'm going to push enter and you'll see that this will automatically calculate all of that for us. Okay, which is 0. But let me go in and put David's pay. So now I can't, if I were to go in and click on these cells and put in a dollar amount, it would mess up my formula. So I am not going to ever put a dollar amount into my total column. I only add changes to this section of my spreadsheet now. So David's income is $18.92. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to push enter and then you'll see the totals will change. See that? Okay, so now I could click on this and retype the new formula, figuring out which one is E and D and all that. But to make it really easy, just click on the formula you've already set up. See that square there? You want to click on that square and you want to drag it down for the remainder of your spreadsheet. Now it has formulated it for you. So I'll just show you. See up here, it already has figured out that this will now be E3 minus C4 plus D4. So you don't have to keep thinking of all that. See those formulas up here? Okay. So now I'm just going to do an example. This is not my real numbers because I'm doing that video later today and I don't want to spoil anything. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so those are our sources of income. Let's add some expenses. So this is the way I set it up. Week 1, I always start with my variable expenses. So I have food, gas, miscellaneous, spending, sinking funds / debt snowball. I only do that this first week of the month. Savings. This is a savings challenge that I do each week. And then after I have all of these variable expenses written down, then I can add any bills that I need to pay. So in week 1, I need to pay my mortgage. I need to pay my SUV. I need to pay State Farm. That is insurance for our vehicles. And then Aspen. That is our garbage company. Okay, so here are all of my expenses for week 1. So I want this formula to go all the way down here so I don't have to do that work. So I'm going to click on that again, take the box, and pull it all the way down. Now the formula is set for me. So now when I go in and I add amounts for these, this total will change. So I'll show you what that looks like. So for food, let's say it's I put $150 towards food, 20 towards gas. I don't budget anything for miscellaneous. Sometimes things come up and I deal with that later, but that's a whole separate issue. For spending, we do $45 a week. That's 20 for me, 20 for David, and 5 for Logan. Sinking funds, debt snowball. This amount is dependent on how much I was able to roll over from the month before. So in this scenario, I have 0 because I rolled over 0. Savings, we'll just do an example. We'll say that I was able to, let's say that I did $25 this week. Oh, that's going to bother me. I got to fix that O. Okay, so those are expenses. Okay, so those are my Variable expenses, now let's go to bills. So my mortgage is $1,317. The SUV is $118. State Farm is $132. And Aspen is $40. Okay, so as you can see, as I put in the amount that I wanted to pay towards my bills, this amount over here decreased. Okay, let's go ahead and set up week 2. Okay, I'm going to show you another trick. For me, these categories vary depending on how much money I make, but for this example, we're just going to say they stay the same. But even if they didn't stay the same, I could still use this trick. I'm going to highlight the things that happen every week. This section happens every week. So I've highlighted it. Now I'm going to push Control-C to copy it. Control-C. Okay, then I'm going to come down here to this first box, and I am going to hit Control-V to paste it. Okay, so even though it transferred the amounts, if I wanted to go in and change those amounts, I could. Oh, oops. So I forgot to put a line for my income, but this is good. I can show you what happens if you forget to do that. So let me do this first. I'm going to copy this down okay, so here's my formula, okay? So I'm going to go here, I'm going to click on row 16, and I want to insert a row above that to include my Etsy income. So I've clicked on that row, and I'm going to go to the Insert tab at the top, click on that, and I want to insert a row, and I want to insert it above the row that I have highlighted. Okay, now I can add my Etsy income. I want you to notice here the formula did not, there's a gap in the formula. So let me show you what happens when I put numbers in, okay? So this is Etsy. And let's say I made $250. So my total did not change because there's a gap in the formula. So whenever you insert a row, you need to fix this. And it's really easy to fix. You just click on the one above, or actually click on any of these that have the formula in it. Not the first one, because that's not the formula you want, but from the second one down, it's the formula you want. So you click on that, click on the box, and drag it down, and it will fix it for you. See? My total has now increased. Okay. So we have our income and we have our variable expenses. Let's go ahead and add our fixed expenses for week 2. So for week 2, my family's fixed expenses are Disney Plus, MetroNet. MetroNet is our cable, and Google Fi. And Google Fi are our cell phone plans. Okay, so Disney Plus is $9. MetroNet is $89. Google Fi is $52. Okay, so I want to bring that formula down so it can do all the work for me. Now, I like to color code my categories, so I'm going to show you how to do that. For me, food is blue, so I clicked on food, and I'm going to come up here to this like paint can that's like dripping, and I am going to click on, let's go with that blue. Okay, and then for me, gas is green, so I'm going to pick a green. Miscellaneous is yellow. Spending is orange. Sinking funds debt snowball is red. Savings is a dark blue. And then my bills are pink and purple. If it's a debt that's eventually going to get paid off, it's pink. I don't like that pink. Do I have any brighter ones? Okay, that's fine. And if it is there, okay, well, let's go with a different purple. Okay. This is not what I have, actually custom colors on my sheet, but that's a whole other thing, and we don't need to do that. We don't need to go into that. Okay, so SUV actually is a pink. Okay, friends, I decided to show you how I changed the colors. This is really an advanced thing, and you totally don't have to do this. You can use the default colors, but this is driving me crazy. As a designer, this is driving me crazy, so I have to fix this. Okay, So if you want to put in a custom color, you come down here to custom where there's a plus sign, hit the plus sign, and then here you can add the code for the color. Every color has a code. And you can just like Google pink color code and it will show you all these different shades of pink and give you all the different codes. That's how I learned how to use them. So the pink I want to use is hashtag F48BA9. That's the color I want to use. I'm going to click OK. And now I'm going to do that color, and change this one back to white. I accidentally changed that color. Okay. So this is also going to be pink. Okay, now for purple, I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to do it with a purple code. So my purple code is hashtag 936ED4. And that's the purple I want. Okay, so I feel much better now. Again, that was more advanced. You totally don't have to do that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change these colors, and then I'm going to show you how to do it easier on week 3 and not have to go in and change each one manually. Okay, so I want to show you how to delete a row that you don't want. So I only do Sinking Funds Debt Snowball once a month. I don't want it down here in this week. So I'm going to click on that row. I'm going to go up to Edit, and I'm going to delete the row. Now when I do this, it's going to mess up my formulas, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. So delete that row. I'm going to delete row 21. Okay, see the formula is messed up. So all you do is click on the one above, click on the square, drag it down, and it will fix it for you. Okay, so it is time to start week 3. I'm going to start with my income for week 3. So in week 3, I will get a check from Etsy. And I'm going to type in week 3 and the date range for week 3. Okay, so again, I'm going to start with food, gas, miscellaneous, and spending. And for this scenario, I'm going to assume that the value is also the same. So I'm going to go back up to those, and I'm going to highlight them all the way to savings. Now I'm going to hit Control-C to copy it. I'm going to come down here to this square, or this cell where I want to start. And I'm going to hit Control-V. And now I have that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put in my Etsy income. We're going to assume $250. $250 is my goal for Etsy, so that's a good assumption. And then I wanted this formula to go all the way down, so I'm going to drag the formula down. By the way, you can do that formula at any time. So if you want, you can get your whole thing like set up and then drag the formula all the way down. There's no like order you have to do it in. Okay, so for week 3, my bills are, I have to pay our city, and our city bill covers water and power. And then we also pay Netflix that week. Okay, since these are bills, I want them to be purple. So for me, bills are things like the difference between debt and bills is bills will always exist. Debt will get paid off, bills will always exist. So $269 and $15. And I want my formulas to come down. Okay, so that's where we are. And then let's set up week 4. In week 4, I will get a check from Etsy. I will also get the child tax credit. And I'm going to type in week 4. Okay, so week 4 is December 19th through December 25th. Okay, so my Etsy income will be $250. Child tax credit is $250. Okay, and then I'm going to copy and paste the things that I know I need to start with, my variable expenses. So highlighted it, and I'm going to do Control-C, come down to this cell, and Control-V. Okay, and then our bills for this week, for week 4, so we have loan number 2. So this is a loan, this is where we consolidated some credit card debt, but we've actually paid 6 months in advance on this, so the amount is actually 0, but I still need to include it in my budget because it's going to come back up eventually. Okay, student loan. So my student loan payment is $40, and that is a debt. And then Alliant, that is $50. Alliant is our gas for our house, so that would be a purple. Okay, bring the formula down. Okay, nice. We're ending, so that's the end of the month. We're ending the month on a positive. And you could stop here, but if I'm going to show you one more thing. Oh wait, actually, sorry, December has 5 weeks, so let me set that up really quickly. Okay, I can't remember if I told you how to highlight, so I'm just going to remind you. So to highlight, you would click on the first cell, and I'm still clicked on it. My finger is still pressed down on the clicker on the mouse. So now I'm going to drag it over to here, and now I've highlighted this cell as well, and I'm going to drag these down, and I'm highlighting 2 cells at a time. It's a little hard to see because of the color, but I'm highlighting 2 cells at a time as I go. I'm going to take my finger off. Now those are highlighted. So I'm going to come down here. Oh, whoops, I forgot to Control C to copy. Okay, so click, finger still on. Now Control C to copy. Now I'm going to come down here and Control V. Okay, so this final week, I don't have any pinks and purples. I just have the variable expenses. So you could stop here, and this will tell you where you're going to start the next month, or for me, I usually take that money and I use it towards my debt snowball, but you do what you want. But I am going to show you one more thing that you can do. Okay, so for these columns here, expenses and income, I like to see the total of those to see if my expenses and my income are matching up. So in order to do that, the formula would be, you say equals, and then, oh, nice, it just popped up for you. But it's the sum. It's the sum of C2 colon to C49. Back in the day when I first started doing this, you had to type that in yourself, but it looks like it does it for you, which is awesome. Okay, so I'm going to push enter. Yes, nice. That is very cool. And if you want this to like stand out, you can bold it and it'll make it stand out a little bit more. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one too. So equals, yes, that is so cool, you guys. It does the work for you. I'm gonna bold that. Okay, and then the other thing I like to do, because I do print this out, is I'm gonna highlight the whole, like where I've written everything, okay? And I'm gonna come up here to borders, and I'm going to put a border around every cell. That way when it prints, it won't just be a white background, there will be black cells. Like I will get to see the black and white cells. And that is it. That is how I set up a spreadsheet from beginning to end. So again, this is the bills that we have to pay, and this is the income that we have. So we want our income to be higher than our bills. That's always a good goal. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, will you please give it a thumbs up? And I will see you all again next time. Bye everyone.